it's Lori Brown from yournurseattorney.com, and I frequently get asked the question, what should I do if I get written up? Well, I know because when I was a nurse, I got written up, and I thought my life was over. I couldn't believe that I was getting written up. Basically, what happened was there was a patient who was coding. The more experienced nurses were resuscitating him, and one of the nurses came out and said, will you call Central Supply and ask for a suction apparatus? In those days, they didn't come out of the wall like they do now, and they were on a cart that we had to get from Central Supply. So I called down to Central Supply, and I remember exactly where I was standing. I was standing by the linen cart, and I was holding the phone, and I said, I need some suction apparatus. Could you please bring it up? And you know what the lady on the other end said? She said, no, we don't deliver. I was shocked. And I said, well, please, this man is dying. We're resuscitating him. Could you please bring it up? And she said, no, we don't do that. So not only was I watching my patients and everybody else's patients, but now there was nobody to go to Central Supply except me. So the next day, my unit manager called me in and said, Lori, I want to talk to you. And I'm like, that can't be good. What's this about? I didn't do anything. And so I sat down in her office, and she said, I need to write you up for the way that you spoke to the people from Central Supply yesterday. And I'm like, what? This man is coding, and equipment, I needed equipment to be brought up to help save his life. And she said, well, the way that you talked to them wasn't appropriate, and I need to write you up. She didn't give me any classes to take on how I can communicate better. She didn't make sure that I was informed of all the policies and the procedures in the hospital. Mind you, I was brand new, green, scared. I didn't know. Nobody told me this. There was no help. And basically, I just felt alone and unsupported and nobody to turn to. Who could I tell this shameful story, how I got written up about the way that I spoke to somebody from Central Supply. And she had the form that she wanted me to sign, and I just didn't agree with it, but I didn't know what else to do. So I just became complacent and signed the form. And I'm sure that a lot of you feel that way. So if you do get a form that you're written up and need to sign, my advice to you is you don't have to sign it. Signing it only acknowledges that you received it. If you disagree with it or have your side of the story, write what your side of the story is. So at least there's some record in your employment file. Otherwise, if somewhere down the road there's an investigation before the board about you, then there's a record of what your side of the story is versus you just complacently signed and agreed with what the manager wrote. So protect yourself and keep all of that documentation so you have it. If down the line, and know your hospital discipline policy. In certain states, it's employment at will and they can terminate you for any reason. They don't even have to have a reason. And in other states, they can't do it that way, but they do have to follow their steps for discipline. So make sure you know what's in your employee handbook about the steps of discipline. And if you do see the handwriting on the wall, leave. Leave before they can fire you, because if you are terminated, you are going to have to answer that you were terminated on every future job application that you submit. If you don't put that you were terminated, say you were only there a short time and you were terminated during the probationary period. If you don't put that you were terminated, that's considered fraud and material misrepresentation in to get a job as a registered nurse, falsifying your credentials. And in fact, at the bottom of those forms, or even if it's online, you are affirming that you told them about every position that you've held and the outcome of it. Now, if you don't want to put that you were terminated, go ahead and put that we'll discuss in an interview. But you have to put you were terminated, but you don't necessarily have to give the reason. I feel for you. I know a lot of my nurses come to me and say, I can't believe they wrote me up for that. But be proactive. Ask. Partner with your supervisor. Ask, well, how can I remedy this situation? What do I need to do? What classes do I need to take? What policies do I need to read? Make your supervisor your friend instead of being resentful that they wrote you up, because that will go a long way for you. and always put your side of the story. And then if you want to put, I disagree with this write-up, that's fine too. And then put your side of the story and keep in your own files and keep it for yourself. That's fine too. But don't just blanketly sign it that you agree with it if you don't. So I hope this helps you. And I know getting written up is scary, but now at least you can be forearmed with some strategies to help you. Bye for now.